Yeah, this is Joshua once again, and we are continuing with our very exciting program titled Back to Basics Reboot. In today's episode, I want us to go a bit deeper. Oh, I'm back in Jos, by the way. I had a great time in Abuja, and I just came back this evening. And on my mind is this very momentous moment, like I would want to put it, that the whole world is going through the COVID-19 era. And like I've told us during the series of this program, the world will never be the same again. The world will never be the same again. I want you to recognize the fact that what has happened to the world is much more than just a pandemic. The whole world system is going through a shaking right now. There is a definite dimension of what I want to call a re-evolution. You know, evolution is the natural trend of events from one step to the other, from one stage to the other. But what is going on right now in the world is a total re-evolution. The world is going through a trajectory of change that I don't think human beings have ever experienced this form of change in modern times. And that's why it's very important, even as we continue with these discussions, that's why it's very important that we understand why I'm saying we should do a return to basics, back to basics. Why do I say basics? This is not the time to carry excess luggage. This is the time to simplify. You see, when we talk about going back to the basics, one of the things I want to look at today is the issue of vision. Vision. When we talk about vision, we are trying to explain that what do you see? If you're looking at this program, for example, right now, what do you see? There's a picture, a color picture, a painting at the back, for example, you are seeing it with your eyes clearly. Now, vision, when it comes to life as a whole, has to do with what kind of, assignment do you think you are carrying in your spirit man? What's your vision? What do you see as your capacity? What do you see as your potential? What do you see as your purpose? What do you see as your mission in life? What are your goals? What are your objectives? So vision is an all-encompassing theme. It's an all-encompassing phenomenon. It has to do with your life journey. Vision is very critical. Yesterday, I was in Abuja, and for those of you that listen to the broadcast, I was trying to explain that your decisions determine your destiny. And you cannot come to a decision without first evaluating the kind of choices. God bless you, my brother Abraham Guya. You're watching. God bless you. God bless you. My friends, as they watch this series of program I've started for some days now, returning back to basics, you'll find that life is very challenging. But you see, until you have a clear vision that directs your pathway, until you have a direct vision, oh, God bless you, Jacinta, God bless you, until you have a direct vision that guides your life, how you move, your mission, then of course, challenges of life can throw you away from success. Success is defined by me as fulfillment of the vision which you have believed is your purpose in life. You see, until you understand that without vision, you can't go through life successfully. Because at the end of the day, success is to be weighed against the vision that you have chosen as that which you think or you believe is your assignment in life. So vision is very critical. So when we talk about rebooting, when we talk about back to the basics, it simply means that it's so critical that you understand the vision of your life. You have to understand the purpose, the vision of your life. You see, I believe that every man on earth was endued with a vision from God. I mean, God does not waste anything. God is a purposeful being. He's a purposeful creator. He's a purposeful creator. He doesn't create in vacuum. He creates everything he created has a purpose. The sun has a purpose. The moon has a purpose. The oceans have a purpose. The animals have a purpose. That's why we talk about the ecosystem. The ecosystem of nature means that there's an interdependence between the different entities in nature. Now, when we talk about vision, every human being that understands the vision that God has proposed for him on earth is the one that's more likely to pursue it. Okay? When you pursue vision with passion, when you pursue vision based on clarity of the purpose for which God has brought you into this existence on earth, then vision is more likely to succeed. So success is therefore based on the vision that you are pursuing. When you fulfill that vision, then we can talk about success. So if you don't have a clear-cut vision, if you don't have a clear-cut purpose, obviously the challenge you're going to have is that, like somebody said, if you do not plan well, then if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So vision is what directs your planning. Vision is what even gives meaning to your life. Because vision is like a man holding a bow and an arrow, and he wants to shoot at a target. You see, if you don't have a specific target to shoot at, if you don't have a focus that gives you direction where to aim your bow and arrow and to shoot, if you don't have that, automatically you will be, a failure, because you can't hit just any target randomly. So vision is like a target. The target that you have. Oh, Samudame, God bless you. God bless you. I see a few of my friends are coming on board. Olufemi, God bless you. Now, when you have a clear-cut vision, the vision begins to direct your life. Vision is almost like, I used to say that vision is actually my master. Why do I say so? Because vision directs my footsteps. If I don't have a clear-cut vision, my footsteps will be purposeless. Now, number two, when you have a vision, you have to also ask yourself the good question: what's the purpose of the vision? You see, every vision from God has a purpose. If you travel, for example, out of this country, with a vision, either for further education or for, you want to do some bit of work, you want to create new opportunities for your life, until you have a clear vision, exactly what you are doing, then the purpose of that vision can also not be understood. Yesterday, I was talking about one of my favorite topics, which is that you must always have a harvest mindset. You see, when you have a harvest mindset, that simply means that before you plant any seed, you have to select what kind of harvest you want. You see, you don't just go to the farm, with your bag, with your cutlass, and just take any seed in your basket. No. Before you go to the farm, you ask yourself the question: what kind of harvest do you want? What kind of crop do you want to produce? Do you want to produce, let's say, rice? Or you want to produce, let's say, maize? Or you want to produce, let's say, cassava? You see, it is the harvest that you have in mind that determines what kind of seed you select. And so vision is like that. Vision is what directs your life along a particular footstep. Your footsteps, are ordered by the kind of vision that you are carrying. Now, let's now look at the dynamics of vision. You see, vision is different from ambition. Many people confuse vision with ambition. The difference between vision and ambition is that ambition is more like a game of survival. You believe that you can excel in a particular trade just because you see other people are doing it. Okay, you have an ambition to be better than anybody else in your family. You want to get a PhD. You see, you just feel that with a PhD you'll be better off than others. Okay, that's more like ambition. When you have a drive, a personal drive to excel in a particular field so that you are number one, or so that you can sustain your own life. That is more or less what I want to call ambition. Is to do with the ambition, what you want to be based on the actions you can take. Ambition. But vision is a bit different. Vision is more encompassing than ambition. Now, what therefore is vision? Vision for me, from the way I've understood over the many years, I've checked also the scriptures, you will see great men of vision. Some of them did not even achieve the vision they discovered God gave to them. But because it was a vision which they believed came from God, they were able to pursue it with all their passion. They were able to pursue it with all their strength. They were able to pursue it with all their love. Okay? You see, I normally fall in love with vision. Because vision is something that is in the mind of God concerning your life. Let me say that again. I usually fall in love with vision. And when I meet a man or a woman with vision, I'm more likely to align whatever I can do to help such a person with my resources. Because a man of vision thinks bigger than himself. A man of vision thinks bigger than herself. But ambition usually puts the person ahead of everything else. An ambitious man, let's take the book of Macbeth, the story written by William Shakespeare. Those men of ambition. Caesar, an ambitious person. Brutus, another ambitious person. You see, ambition drove them, even the wife of Caesar. The ambition they had drove them to kill other people because of their ambition. They wanted to be number one. They wanted to be a king. And so others too wanted to be a king, or they want him to be king. So they killed one another. But you see, vision is different. Vision puts God first, because vision is usually bettered. Like this. Vision is usually bettered in the mind of God. So for vision, you need to discover vision. So when I talk about rebooting, when I talk about going back to the basics, one good place to start from is vision casting. I call it vision casting, meaning that check your life right now. Have you discovered your actual vision? Check your life. Or are you operating by ambition? You see, ambition can stress you. Ambition can give you tense moments, because when ambition is not achieving its goals in the way that ambitious people normally take ambition to be, when you believe that without you being number one, there's no success, you will be stressed, okay? And every challenge you face may become like something that can even create your blood pressure will go up. But when you have vision, vision has a way, number one, of calming you down. Why does it calm you down? The day I discovered my vision, okay, that was the day peace entered my heart. That was the day all my talents, all my treasures, all my time, everything that I considered to be dear to me, I brought them under the vision that God exposed to me as my purpose in life. And so, before I talk about my personal vision, which I believe God has given me, let me challenge you. Let me challenge you, my friends who are listening, my friends who are watching, and I'll be posting this, of course, on my Facebook page, and so you can visit again and listen to it again. Let me challenge you. Have you discovered your vision? Have you discovered that thing that you know beyond any doubt is why God created you? Do you know that something about vision is that God creates every man and every woman with a vision, and it directs your life in such a way that you will eventually discover your vision if you are truly interested in discovering God's vision for you. Look at the great man Nelson Mandela, the South African president that just passed on a few years ago. He was a man that has a passion. He had a strong passion for the liberation of South Africa, of not just South Africa, but of his people, the black people, the Africans who were oppressed, the people that suffered under apartheid. I schooled in Russia, and I remember when I was still a federal government scholar in Russia, I had friends from the diaspora, Africans from Jamaica, Africans from Guyana, Africans from other countries like Sierra Leone, like Ghana, like Benin Republic, and all of those, my friends. We came together to create a special, what I call a Pan-African group. Our vision, let me use the word vision also, was to support whatever concerns the African people, okay? And I remember one thing we did in the early 90s, okay? We contributed a lot of resources to send to our South African brothers and sisters who were suffering, okay, after the Soweto crisis especially. So we had this vision that Africa should be free. Now, the vision was not based on just our personal need for recognition, because we went through tremendous sacrifices to contribute to that game. But at that point in time, the South African blacks, people like Nelson Mandela, they were still using violent means, because Nelson Mandela had, at a point in time, an ambition as a trained lawyer, but he had the love of South Africans, the black people, to free them. But when he now caught a vision, this is the difference between the two. When he now caught a vision while he was in jail, okay, what happened next? He began to discover that South Africa was much more than just the blacks in South Africa. So he began to preach racial harmony. He came out of jail with a vision. His vision was a free South Africa where neither black nor white was to be oppressed. He refused to toe the line of hatred. He refused to hate the whites just because they had, tortured Africans before. Thank God for people like Freddie de Klerk, who, though being a white, leader, an apartheid, leader at a point in time, he was able to appreciate also the vision of Nelson Mandela, and he gave him freedom. Many South African whites didn't want that to happen. But these were great men. No wonder they both got the Nobel Peace Prize at a point in time. So vision has the way of thinking beyond the man. Vision is usually bigger than the man. For example, let me give you my vision. Just one simple language. I don't want to go too deep into myself today. I want to encourage somebody listening to this program. I want to encourage somebody to go deeper into your spirit man. Go deeper into the mind of God. Usually vision is discovered, not received by personal goals, but vision is discovered in the mind of God. Okay? Now, how did I discover my vision? I discovered my vision at a time in my life when I was almost like completely knocked out of existence. I was going through a lot of challenges in that point in time. I remember 1991, I was in Russia, Moscow, and my business was failing, my marriage was failing, everything around me was failing. And somehow, the Spirit of God helped me that day. I began to meditate on God. I began to cry out to God. I began to ask God for mercy. I began to reattune, to fine-tune my mind around the concept of God. And guess what happened after that? I received a powerful encounter with God. And God told me something very clear. I heard His voice as I went through that process. And I heard God tell me, go to my son and learn of him. You can't believe it, at that point in time that my life was going through the kind of crisis I never knew I could come out of. But the moment God gave me the vision of his son, Go to my son, I heard him say to me, and learn of him. And I obeyed that voice of God. And I began to study about Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. The more I studied him, the more I began to discover myself in him. No wonder God sent me to him. Because guess what? God bless you, my friends that are coming online. God bless you. What happened at that point in time was that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, became not just a religious figure to me. It became, like I would like to put it now, it became my template for life. It became my pattern for life. I began to understand that why did God send me to him was to learn who I myself am supposed to be like. His love, his humility, his willingness to lay down his life for others. That was the day and the moment and the season I discovered my vision. People tell me that I love. People tell me that I'm passionate about helping others. Guess what? It was a discovery I found out in the life of our Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God. And now I'm a preacher man. Okay, I'm a pastor. We run orphanages, we run schools for the children and all of that. And I love doing it. I love teaching people about God and the gospel of reconciliation. That's what Christ taught me. He taught me how to bring people through him to the Father God. A lot of people don't recognize the fact that the vision of Christ himself, his mission was to reconcile men to God. That's why he said in John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. That's powerful. Now, people think that coming to God is a religious thing. No, it's not. Coming to God is a spiritual thing. Remember, we were made in the image of God. We were made in the capacity of people that can operate like God. But if you don't know who God is, how can you operate like him? And so vision has to do with discovering why God brought you into life. So as I round up today's conversation, I would like you to please ask questions. I would like you to comment. I would like you to acknowledge any point that you think you want to get to know better through questions and all of that. Okay? But as I round up, I want you to remember something. You must check your life now. Do an audit of your life. What areas of your life are not in alignment with what you consider to be of God? You see, because when you discover the vision God has created you for, that's when your existence actually begins. That's when your purpose for existence actually begins. I tell you the truth of the matter. Vision has a way of stabilizing your mind. Vision has a way also, let me add this quick one quickly. Vision also has a way of, guess what? Taking you through tough times. When things are really very tough, it takes a man, a woman of vision to stay. Men of vision never give up until the vision is achieved. If you go to the book of Hebrews chapter 11, you will discover men of vision that are there. And people of vision are people of faith. Because your faith is dependent on what you believe God has proposed for you to do. Vision always brings about faith. Vision brings about perseverance. Vision brings about patience. Vision is that powerful, it's almost like like an addiction. It's like an addiction, okay? Because you are so addicted to your vision that even when other people are tired, you are still there, pushing on, pushing on. I love men of vision. I love women of vision. Because it is that vision that you are carrying that actually propels you through tough times. So I want you to reboot your life. I want you to consider again your vision for life. If you have not discovered vision properly, this is the time. In this time of going back to basics, in this time of rebooting your life, as we round up 2020, as we enter into 2021, I would like you to spend the rest of the year considering your life. What is your vision? And vision, remember, is in the heart of the manufacturer. And in the case of man, God is our manufacturer. I have to sign off here. I normally don't take too much time in these conversations. God bless you, and do have a pleasant weekend. Those of you that are going to church tomorrow, or wherever you worship, wherever you fellowship, remember to cry to God, to clarify your vision more. Ask God to perfect your understanding of your vision, because what you see is what you become. Okay, God always used vision to train his men. He used vision to train Abraham. He took Abraham out in the open sky and he said, what do you see? He said, those stars you are seeing, your children shall be like that. Abraham had no children at that point in time from his wife Sarah. They were both barren. But when he caught that vision from God, the vision was able to bed faith in him. And that faith, the scripture says, was counted for righteousness. And his womb, his system of reproduction and Sarah's womb came alive. So vision has resurrection power inside of it. Yes, God bless you. Thanks, my brother Owusi. Thank my brother. So I round up with this. Remember, catch a vision. And if you have a vision already, sharpen that vision. Throw away everything that is a weight. All those things that distract you. Vision deserves and demands complete focus. And we shall continue on these discussions tomorrow by God's grace. And please, it will be posted on my Facebook page. Go there and let's have your comments. God bless you. Amen.